and welcome to your favourite moments from Empire E2. Now, you commented on our last video, our favourite moments of Empire. You've also commented on our brand new Instagram. Go check it out, it's pretty cool. And also on my personal Facebook wall. So here it is, your favourite moments from Empire 2. Here we go.
I see Sammy spared no expense on the scenery. Right, this one is from Highland Wolver. I see Ezio coming to the realisation the League truly wasn't for him and began to shift to another nation. OC, our wrestling discussion on Thursday nights. That's probably one you had with Sammy, I guess. I don't know anything about wrestling.
This one's from Lee. E2 was my first LARP, and that moment walking into the Orc camp was made very welcome. Gave me a buzz before we even started. Then on Friday being accepted into the Ironside and getting my colours, and the thing that cannot be mentioned that Matt did meant a lot to me as well. But got to go trading with Ironside Flax and see her asking Mero with tentacles on the face she can cure his growths and see him get slightly upset. Oops, lol. But my best one is going with Bloodcrow Hajar, meeting humans in Wintermark, hearing their lives and drinking their beer and rum. Thanks to all, but everyone cannot wait till the next one. Ironside Stack. Kiss.
This one is from Perfidious Jewelry. Someone realised I had made outfit changes that reflected character development. Also, just to say, these people do jewellery proper nice.
This one's definitely not from Chris. Regarding the Midnight Pit induction, what Matt doesn't mention is that I had a lot of new Imperial Orcs waiting for him from 10 to midnight. That's what it is. Yeah, 10 to midnight. Until 10 past? What time was I? I did say midnight, didn't I? In the dark, in silence. There were a lot of nervous faces, and none of them understood why they had been summoned there. You probably could have told them. The atmosphere was tense until they realised they weren't in trouble. Or danger. Retrieving the bodies of Bloodcrow and Ashbourne, once I realised they were down, it was an intense experience. I was stood over both bodies as the humans stepped around me. I had my hammer in my hands and growling low at those who came too close. My frustration came from seeing too many people leaving, the approaching enemies, the wanting to take both bodies. I held my ground, wondering if any Imperial Orc would come to assist. When I noticed movement beside me, next to the body of the fallen Ashbourne, I turned, ready to strike, only to see a Dornish egregore. He looked me in the eyes and told me calmly that it was time to move them. Then reached down and picked up the body of the Ashbourne. I reached for the body of the Bloodcrow, and we set off towards the line of Imperial Orcs in the distance. Being able to retrieve those bodies allowed us our moment in the pit with the fallen, to grieve, take items, and express ourselves through tears and words.
This one's from Sandy. A journey reading with Vec and talking about our lives before Anvil.
This one's from George. The battle was tense. I remember being pushed out by the first sheer volume of the Crimson Reaper and having to yell between ditches with Ball before trying to go around the Jotun to flank them on the bridge because we couldn't get in through the ditch. I got really desperate because I couldn't see you guys getting hot on both sides and was desperately trying to get back in hoping all of the Ashbournes were alright. We weren't though, were we, mate?
This one is from Menswear and Make Believe. My character joined a hall and it felt awesome because they feel like a family immediately. Aww.
K-hole. Is that supposed to be Chloe? Looking at you, Sammy. You and your spelling errors. What an event! I led my first ritual, which happened to be a curse for a super lovely Dornish lady who was doing her test of metal. I loved learning to dance with iron-tide rust. Gotta get ready for the wedding. I think Aurora has found a new best friend in Iron-Tide Bracken and her reasonably priced tasteful orc nudes. Opening the gate with Grunt was awesome, and oh, the champion of the horn. Even with the weather being Why does everyone say redacted? The weather was bad. Get over it.
Right. This one's from Dave. In no order whatsoever, Iron-Tide Bracken justifying the tasteful orc nudes to a tent full of increasingly concerned Iron-Tide. It's fine. Look, they have their wraps on. To mutterings of, yeah, fair point. It's a good thing out of a shite situation. The entire orc camp coming together to help out each other when the weather got bad. I've been in other nations and you will not get that anywhere else. It reinforces all the bragging about us being the best nation out of character, and little thank yous and compliments on our camp always make me smile. What started as a Mickey take to torture the instructor has turned naturally into something else. Yarn and Raw's dancing dates. Taking the instruction to stomp literally, getting rudely interrupted by the Skywires, and then continuing in the pit was grand. Failure to find beers, turning into a proper good night out with the Urizen. Grauker getting to break... blah 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 blah. Grauker getting them all to break with a very sad song. And to you, Bull, life is good because it's varied.
This one's from Patrick. So like Matt, after getting my second hospital funded and help stopping Conclave mucking up herbs, I got a night off. So my Saturday night started with drinks around my general chapter's fire with stories of highborn smut. On to Senate motions in the building with a step halfway through the floor, I could not see because I would stab my partner in the face with my horns. Yes, healing spells were cast while dancing around the drums, what was great. Back to Highguard, should I say, where I proposed to my date, who said yes, even though there was mixed reviews from my nation. We celebrated nonetheless. Congratulations, mate.
And now we hear from Fern. Amazing work as always, guys. Absolutely enjoyed being beasted by the First Legion in the banner and the banter during the Champion of the Horn, and the weird roleplay about horseshoes that followed with Red Hand Gazar. Also, the selling Grud Flax confiscation and conversations of reasonably priced yet tasteful orc nudes. Thanks for helping out with the banner game. You're welcome.
This one's from Kerry. Marching into the Navarre song and story time, interrupting a certain bard's song, mentioning one of my banner in a derogatory way. I'll never forget the way all the colour drained out of his face as we walked into the circle. I felt like such a badass. Gazar hardly ever gets to be the scary orc. I know you scare me sometimes, mate.
This one is from Daniel. As it was my first, it was a lot to take in. But in no particular order, walking around the orc camp, fighting a proper shield wall with the Dunnings, being welcomed in with open arms by the Dunnings, buying a weighted sword and fighting with it, singing and drinking in the Dunnings hall feeling like a proper not Viking. Walking into camp on Friday evening, soaking up the sights, both IC and OC, being drawn in by the singing and stories being told around the Wintermark fire before even finding my tent. Who knew horses had 6 legs? Talking with Savi, Loyalty Crow, about loyalty and having a proper IC conversation. Oh, watching my mate get a bit uncomfortable while an orc inspected his trinkets and asked their story. Charlie, you have such stories to tell them. Few knots, sorry, but I think you won't mind. Not turning up Thursday evening, not joining years ago, when Empire first started, not exploring more of Anvil and not being close to the Orc camp when you had your confrontation and playing the drums? Does he mean the Night of Worth?
This one is from Steph. In the dark, in the pit, ears full of ancestors who have nothing good to say about the Empire, Grauka, Aurora, and Raw had collared the egregore, Grunt, who thinks. This season, the old man had tried to get a shaman to cut out his heart when opening the Sentinel Gate. Actions needed to be taken before he found one of the shaman in the nation who would actually do it and kill him. Grauka, now an Oathright, shouted why and what was happening to him. After all, what worth is there in having your hand cut off or barely sliced open if magic the scar away a moment later? But at the point she was to take hold of Larch's old axe from Raw, the Ashborn cleaved Grud's hand off instead. It didn't help with the ancestors in Grauka's ear one bit to have someone else maim him on her orders. A delightful taste of power. He would see how many people cared about his well-being. And he would have to earn his hand back, eventually. In the end, she was left wondering if they had all just been tricked into partaking in blood magic by an old, wise orc prepared to gamble his life on such a lesson.
Ooh, this one's got my name in it. And it's from Anonymous. I wonder why they don't want us to know who they are. This chair is really loud.
There's a comic genius, okay?
Too many good times at the last event, so I figured if you're reading these out in a video, I'll write about you three. Oh goody. That won't be awkward for you at all. Ooh, we'll start with Raw. What a genuinely genuous character. Friday Night Liberty Pact ritual was wonderful. Fantastic RP opportunity made by a player for other players. Your imagination, time and effort are thoroughly appreciated. You're awesome, smiley face. Well done. You did a good one.
Thanks, buddy.
Sammy. Oh, that's unfortunate. I guess he hasn't met Bull yet. I don't think we've ever spoken, I see. Yeah, no, he hasn't. You went out of your way to tell me, OC, that you liked the tale I muddled my way through at the Night of Worth. Maybe a small thing to you, but I swear I can't really remember what I actually said, and spent some time worrying if any of it had made sense to anyone. So thanks for the unprompted validation. Simple few words, made my day better. Thank you. Yeah, I get that a lot. There's a lot of stuff I do and I totally blank on what it was. So, you're not the only one. Hopefully what we say is any good, but it might not be. Fal. That's me! I was quite proud not to be too starstruck when talking to Fal. I don't know, Fal's not that interesting. After firmly putting away thoughts of asking for an autograph or throwing sweaty undergarments in his direction, we had a short chat in the hub. And there I was, chatting with a legend who seemed totally worn out and a little broken by a very long weekend of diplomacy. That all changed when he realised I'd become a priest and suddenly seemed to find the energy to do his best Tory PM candidate impersonation in his search for additional votes for his mandate. Maybe not the kindest comparison. No, it's not. Hope the humans get their shit together next event so you can have more time to chill. I hope so.
This one is from Jimbo. Had an amazing time, E2. One of my faves. Was my first pit fight and getting paid. Although it wasn't hand to hand, it was really cool. Had some really cool interactions with Bull. The Frost Bears seem to have got their feet off the ground with getting that trading post. Well, I fucking hope so.
This one is from Azuz. My favourite moment was after Raw cut off Grunt's hand. It was a truly haunting moment that will stay with me forever. I'm very much in love with Grunt, who thinks his character he will have moments of vivid clarity in which he remembers exactly what happens to him as a slave. I have theories about that. What was said and the horrible things that were done to him and his fellows in the rebellion and more. But then he was snapped back to his almost cheeky crazy, what we've come to know as normal self. Ed, who plays Grunt, has done an amazing job of portraying the character who's gone through horrific and traumatic events and has physically survived but mentally been torn apart. The truly haunting moment was when Luger and the new Red Hand, Khazar, were standing on the gate and Grunt came out of the darkness, mumbling to himself. After a brief silence, Luger said to Grunt, "Things have changed, Grunt. It's not how it was before." To which Grunt replies, "Nothing's changed, just who holds the axe." Oh, and on a lighter note, I loved a mini non-moment between Raw and Luger when she tripped over a piece of wood and kicked at it, exclaiming that it was a monster attacking her. Luger quickly pointed out that it was a piece of wood. Raw merely responded with, "Yeah, well, fuck that piece of wood." I did do that.
You thought I was Andrea, didn't you? Thank you very much for watching your favourite moments. I hope you enjoyed it, although I guess you would have if they're your favourite moments anyway. Do all the liking and those things, because Sammy says that's a good thing to do. Please. Hopefully we might do some more of these, because there's a couple of weeks till the next event, and to get frothy for E3, if anyone's got more favourite moments, then comment on this one and then we'll read them out, maybe, hopefully, we'll see. Bye.